Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela. I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady and welcome back. Today I am jumping on the bandwagon. It's the 2023 Random Rusty Q&A. So come on, let's go and see what crazy answers I can come up with for these questions. Okay, so I came across these questions when I was watching our cheeky crafty moose Sarah. Now Sarah hasn't actually tagged anybody. She said run with it if you want to. So here we go, I'm running with it. Now there are quite a few questions. Sorry, I will write in the comment section down below where she got the questions from, and also have the questions written out down there, so that if you choose to join in on this one, you can do, and you'll have all the information to hand like I've got. I've got our cheeky moo here, and I've got a description box open so I can read the questions. Save me having to write them out. I love you, moo moo. You made things so much easier for me today. Okay, so let's start off with these questions. I've read through them and there's nothing really there that has me too worried. Okay, one question I'm a bit, ooh, I could really answer that dodgy, but the rest of them are fine. So the first question is, besides yarn, is there anything else that you collect? Now over the years I have collected lots of weird and wonderful things, but the main thing that I collect, and it's a personal collection, okay, is shot glasses. Now this all stems from when there was me and my daughter, and we'd got our first proper flat, and my dad had come round and he put a shelf up in the kitchen so that I could put some cheap glasses that I'd bought from our local Asda. It was like was it a pack of 18 for £2.50 back in early 200s. It wasn't expensive for that amount of glasses, but the idea was that I was going to have them on that shelf. So my dad put this shelf up, and I'd stacked the glasses, and I thought he had finished the job. It turned out he'd forgotten two very important screws, the screws that hold the shelf to the section that was attached to the wall. So he's sitting down having dinner, and as he's got up, he's put his hand on the shelf, gently tapped the front of it by mistake. That would have been fine if the screws had been there, but they hadn't, so these glasses went flying. So my dad felt quite guilty, and so he brought me round some shot glasses that he'd saved from his mum and dad's house. Now they'd passed away a few years prior, so he brought me round this collection of 6 little shot glasses, and of course a load of other glasses that he'd managed to find around the house that my mum didn't want, so that I at least had some glasses. And I was like, thank you, Dad, but honestly it would have only cost £2.50 and a 5-second walk to the local Asda. So at that point I had these 6 very beautiful shot glasses, and then every time I went on holiday or I took my daughter out somewhere special, if I could find a shot glass with the name of that area on, I would buy it. So of course over the years we've been to Disney, we've been very lucky, we've been to Disney, we've been to other places as well, and I've picked up a little shot glass because it's something small that could go in my suitcase, and it was something that I bought for me. Nobody else is allowed to buy them for me, and nobody else is allowed to bring them back off their holidays for me. It is just a me thing. So I've now got quite a few of them. I don't. At one holiday I went to, I bought about 8. It's like, yeah, I've had to stop myself from doing that one. Okay, the next one up is, what is my most prized possession? This is going to sound really weird, and I'm not going to show it to you. But I've got a doll, and this doll was bought for me when I was 3.5 by my grandmother. This doll is about the size of a 6 to 9 month old baby, and it's a soft body with solid arms and a wibbly wobbly head. This thing has gone everywhere with me. At one point, this doll I'd put in my daughter's clothing, because the clothing that this doll had was old. So I'd nabbed one of her baby grows and put it on this doll, right? And she'd been playing with it in the lounge, but had left it face down on the floor. And we had the health visitor come round. Now, the health visitor, for anyone that doesn't know, is a care professional that comes round at certain points during the child's earlier developmental years, and they'll run tests like hearing tests and balance tests and all sorts of other little things. Well, my daughter was about 18 months old, and she was coming round. The health visitor came round for this hearing test, and she thought the doll was my daughter, because it was laying face down, and she was like, ah! And I've gone, what? And I've picked this doll up by its leg. The health visitor was proper freaking, and I'm like, no darling, it's a doll, the baby's in bed, I'll just go get her. But yeah, I've had this doll for so long. Its eyes are wonky now, because it did have little mechanical eyes. The eyes are wonky. It's been drawn over. I've used it for fancy dress costumes and painted its face in face paint, so there's still bits of that attached to it. The poor thing really does need a lot of TLC to get it back on track, and at the moment it's rolled up slightly in a cupboard in the kitchen, because that's the only place I've managed to hide it. And if my husband ever sees this video, I'm going to have to go and hide it again. Because all 3 of my loving family members that live or have lived in this house want shot of that doll, because it's scary. It's not. She's lovely. Name a book or movie that is important to you is question number 3. I've never really been an overly avid reader. I'll go through phases where I'll pick up books, especially since I've found that I can read books a lot easier on my tablet than what I could in person. Because of my dyslexia, it means I can change the colours around on the pages to make it easier to read. But I think my most important book will have had to have been an Enid Blyton book from way back when. And it was The Magic Faraway Tree. And it was the whole 3 books from that set, and I've still got it upstairs. And the reason for that is that was the book that I learned to properly read from when I was about 7.5. I had my school teacher noticed I was really struggling, so he spent a lot of breaks and lunch times with me sitting reading this book that had been bought for me for Christmas from my aunt, and that was the book that made me enjoy reading. Okie dokies. And next one, how many languages can I say thank you? Oh no. 1. I live in Britain. We don't do a lot of languages at school, and when I was a kid, I was taught French and was told I could learn German if I got good in French. I didn't want to learn French, so I didn't. But bonjour. Oh no, thank you. Dankeschön, German. I think that's how it said. I can't quite remember. So yeah, it's thank you. It's pretty much 3 languages when I can remember them. Actually, I got that wrong. It's 4. There's mercy, Dankeschön. Gotta love Makaton. And sign language. Yeah, so that is thank you in Makaton. What's the most interesting place I've visited? Ooh, If we go for London, we've got the two most beautiful museums that are free entry. Those are really, really good for learning local information and history and things like that. We've been to, where was another interesting place? Lanzarote. You're going to think that's a bit strange because most people that go there just go there for the beach. But this was a holiday where our children were older. We had a pool, so they could spend a day in the pool. But we then took a trip out and we went to a volcano that was still active, but not active, dangerous active, just active as far as it's warm and you can cook jacket potatoes at the top. So that was a really nice place that we visited, where we learnt a lot more information about the country than what we thought we was going to. Just a shame I can't remember it all. Am I a morning bird or a night owl? Now this is a little bit of an awkward one for me because I've spent years working nights. When I was working in my last job, that's what I did. I worked nights. So it really does depend on if I've slept. It doesn't matter what time of the day, but if I've slept, I'm awake. When I came back from Australia end of last month, I had a solid 8 hours sleep when I got home, and that was really cool. I got up at 5 in the morning and recorded 4 videos. Yet this week I got up at 8 and my brain wasn't in gear to record one. So it really is dependent. Sometimes my brain kicks into gear at about midnight and I'm sitting there going, I need to sleep, and the brain's going, no. So yeah, for me, a morning bird or night owl, no, it's just whenever the crazy brain decides to jump on the train and work. Tell us about your animal family. Okay, so as you guys know with the opening titles, the boss of the channel is Liam. He's a German Shepherd, a Collie Cross. He is now 6. He's getting old. He's bat crazy, super duper huggy, absolutely gorgeous dog, but does have his quirks. But then hey, who doesn't? What show or movie do I love to rewatch? Okay, movie wise, my favourite used to be The Lost Boys. That's vampires, but non-sparkly. But the last time I watched it, I got a bit upset because I realised that the characters' ages were now the ages of my daughter. So the only one I could say safely that I wanted to get my hands on and hug was Nanook the dog. So I'm now back to Blade. Gotta love me a decent vampire. In regards to favourite TV programmes, I'm going through a phase of rewatching Dexter, but I'm on the new version of Dexter, of where his son has arrived, and I'm not going to say any more than that just in case you haven't got hold of that one. Other than that, it's normally down the supernatural sort of route, like Supernatural. And what else is there? Oh, there's too many. But yeah, it really does depend on the mood of the week, because normally if I do it, I binge watch at least 1 or 2 seasons. So personally, with myself at the moment, I'm going through a bit of a supernatural phase and vampire month, but with my husband, we're on the Star Trek kick. So it's the new old Star Trek. The guys and girls that watch Star Trek will know what I mean. Okay, how do I recharge? I sleep. sleep and sleep. What's the favourite way to travel? Normally in the passenger seat in the car. That way I can sleep if I want to, crochet when I want to, and I don't have to pay attention to anything unless it's time to hand out food and snacks. Did I have a nickname? Yes, far too many, and I'm not sharing them, but the one I love the most is Poppy, because that's my chosen one. Am I an introvert or an extrovert? 2 long words. depending on the mood, depends on how I am. So it's the mood, and normally the mood and the situation as to which way round it goes. What was my first official job? Oh, okay, so the one where the tax man took his cut. The first one was working in a factory, and I was a packer. Now this factory did competitions and prizes and things. Do you remember back in the day, I'll have to say it like that, I'm going to sound proper old, but back in the day you used to collect tokens off of cereal packets, tea bags, even down to jam jars, and you would collect these little tokens, save them up until you had a certain amount, and then you'd stick them in an envelope with a check 9 out of 10 times for a certain amount. Normally it was to cover postage, and you'd send them off, and then after a couple of weeks you would get something in the post, whether it be a teaspoon from the Tetley tea folk, or if you were really good you managed to collect enough points somehow to get the NatWest, that's a bank over here in the UK. They had some money boxes that were shaped as pigs, and they had a whole family. They've been very popular. Or with the jam jars, I've got to be careful how I say this one, the gollies. You used to collect, there was a little picture of a golly at the top of the jam jar, and you'd save them, send them off, and you could get spoons, you could get cups, you could get teddy bears, or dolls I should say, shaped as the gollies. For any of you that don't know why I'm being careful, I've had to drop the second part of the word, okay, for the gollies, because it's now classed as a racial slur. I have got some gollies in my collection. We've got a couple of little cups here, just some little diddy ones with some little toys, and I've also got a book written by Enid Blyton published in like the 1980s called The Three Gollies, and my edition is actually a misprint, because on the front cover it's called The Three Gollies. 2 or 3 pages in it goes The Three Gollies, and then the 4th page it's The Three Golly with that 3-letter word at the end, and it carries on with that 3-lettered word for the rest of the book. Oh, so yeah, that's so, oh yes, I've veered off, sorry. So the company I worked for used to be the people that you would send that envelope to with your little collection of vouchers in, and I would be the one that wrapped it, packed it, and sent it out to you. Right, then next question. If money was no object, how would you spend your day? Oh, we could have so much fun with this. As a practical note, if money was no object, I would now be living in Australia. I would probably be in the house next door to the Outlaws, solely so that I could go around and give them a hand. And of course the other thing is I love Australia, but we can't get over there and stay there anymore because we haven't got enough points or whatever it is. But if I was looking on a completely selfish thing, I suppose it's how I'm living at the moment. I don't have where I'm not working, I stay at home. The only difference would be I would have a cleaner, a cook, and someone to listen to everybody's rants, and I'd just be left to do my own thing. Okay, if I became the ruler of a country, what's the first law I would pass? That's the dangerous question. Seriously dangerous. Okay, I would... not going to answer that one because it might not be safe. Okay, name something I am proud of. My friendships. Because for me sometimes it takes me a while to build up the friendship and also to maintain a friendship. I'm not the best, as some of you know, outside of YouTube. Some of you all know I'm not the best at touching base. All of a sudden you'll get a message after 3 months going, hello, I haven't spoken to you for a while, how are you doing? And that's pretty much me. So it's making sure that my my friendships and my friends understand that I'm a flake when it comes to communication. And the next one is that I am facing up to the fact that my dyslexia is an issue, and I am working on it, especially because of having to write patterns and making sure that they're eligible and you guys can all read them. And that's the bit of everything I do that causes the most aggravation for me, but is the most rewarding at the end, and the bit that I'm the proudest of. Okay, so that's it for the end of the questions. Fingers crossed I've got them all. I'm going to do a Sarah, our cheeky moo Sarah. I'm going to copy her. The questions are in the description box down below. So if you are a content creator and you want to join in this year, make sure you check that description box down below and grab all the information you need. If you're not a content creator, don't worry. Answer a couple of the questions that you like the most in the comment section down below, because I would love to know some of the things that you would have answered, how you would have answered some of these questions. I need to put my brain back on. Right, that is it for me for today. I will see you all really soon. So please remember, stay chilled, stay happy and keep crafting. Goodbye everybody.